In this video, we're looking at practice 22, and table of contents tells me that that starts on page 48. We are adding and subtracting decimals today. And if you have watched the instructional video, you know how important it is to line up your decimals. So I'm going to be using, if I can get it to fit, these graph squares because that helps me to remind you to line up your decimals. Okay, in this first one, Evan analyzes baseball statistics. The on-base percentage is 552 thousandths for the top-ranked team. The on-base percentage is 292 thousandths for the lowest-ranked team. What is the difference in the on-base percentages? So they want us to subtract. I'm going to take that larger number, the higher number, and put it down here. And then the smallest number, which is 292, you want to make sure that you are lining up those place values. That is so important. And we're subtracting. We work right to left. 2 minus 2. Have to borrow here to get 15 minus 9. Be careful with that borrowing. That's a 0. Decimal comes down and 0. So the difference is 60 thousandths. But remember, they will drop those extra zeros. So the difference is 6 hundredths. So I would go with answer B on this one. This is a little more difficult than just basic subtraction. You have to make sure those decimal places are aligned. Number 2, Melissa has, I'm going to try something here, guys, so I won't have to keep resizing that. Let's see if that works. Melissa has 2 7/75 pounds of blackberries and 1 52 pounds of strawberries. How many pounds of berries does Melissa have in all? So we're going to take our 275 and the other number, 152, line them up, and in all means addition. It can mean multiplication, but in this problem it's addition. So we carry a 1 across the decimal. That's fine. Have 4 in this column. So 4.27 pounds. I like answer D for this one. Simon has $34. He spends $26.24 to buy a movie. How much money does Simon have left? Remember, those keywords in the questions are so very important. So he starts out with $34. He spends $26.24. So we know that we have to subtract. I'm going to add my zeros in there for the $34. And then we have to borrow across those zeros. So let me walk you through that. I will take one of those and give to this one. You can only go to the place next door, to the neighbor. Then I will take one of those and give to this neighbor. And then we're ready to subtract. 10 take away 4 is 6. 9 take away 2 is 7. I will have to borrow here to make that a 13. And then of course that is 0. So $7.76 is the answer to this one. Don't go crazy with borrowing. Just borrow as you need to. I had a teacher once that told me to do all my borrowing at one time, and that got me very confused. My advice is to just borrow as you need to. Number 4, they've already set this one up for me. I am going to add a 0 in there. So I have 95.32 minus 49.70. And that could very easily be dollars and cents. I don't know. Doesn't matter. There's 2. Okay. So 14 minus 9 is 5. And 8 minus 4 is 4. So I'm looking for 45.62. And that's answer B. Just a straight up subtraction problem. I won't say it's easy, but it's easier because we don't have the words to sort through. Jasmine and Shelley each buy new gym bags. Jasmine spends $42.93. Shelley spends $27.81. How much more does Jasmine spend than Shelley on a new gym bag? So hopefully you recognize that this one is subtraction. So I want to put the larger number on top, and that's $42.93 minus $27.81. And we have a subtraction problem ready to go. Don't need to borrow here. Don't need to borrow here. I do need to borrow in this column to get $15.12 difference. And that is option C. Number 6. Quinn pours 26 2/10 fluid ounces of chicken broth and 8.11 fluid ounces of water into a pot to make soup. How many fluid ounces are in the soup? So this one is an addition problem. We're mixing broth and water. Remember to line up your decimal points, guys. That's so important. It doesn't line up by numbers. It lines up by decimal points. And then go ahead and fill in those holes with zeros just to be sure that you've got it lined up correctly. And then we're ready to add those. 1 and 3. Carry 1 in this column, and that is 3. So I'm thinking 34.31 fluid ounces. I like answer B for that one. Number 7. The table shows Rick's earnings for 3 shifts. Which 3 statements are true? Rick earns $132.96 working shifts 1 and 2. So shift 1 and shift 2. Add those together. And that is not true. Rick earns $119.27 working shifts 2 and 3. I really wish I had a calculator on this one. This is a lot of work for one question. But add them up. 119.27, that's one of the true statements. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark that one. We know we need 3 of them, so we have 2 more to find. Working shifts 1 and 3. So we have 76.13 and 63.44. This is actually a very good skill, guys, to have. Even though it's a lot of work, being able to read this table and work with it is a good thing. And that is one of my choices also. That turns out to be a true statement. So we have one more to find. Rick earns $20.30 less working shift 2 than shift 1. So this is a subtraction problem. Shift 2 minus shift 1. And did you see what I just did? That's going to give me a negative number. So let me try that again. And I'm not going to edit this out because that's a very common error. You need to be sure that you put the bigger number on top. And I just didn't do that. I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention. I was going in the order of the problem. And that's not always the case. So let's try it this way. So I have to borrow here to get an 11, take away 8, 0, and 20. That is a true statement. So right there together are the 3 answers we need. Now just in case you picked E or F, let me go ahead and do those also. We want to subtract shifts 3 and 2. So 63.44 and 55.83. I'm working on option E here. That's 6, 7, 761. That does not mesh with option E. This is not true. They're off a little bit there in E, which we knew that because we've already found our answers. And then 3 and 1. So we have the 76.13 minus the 63.44. I would expect this one to be a false answer, but let's just be sure, because as you know, sometimes I make mistakes, especially when I'm trying to squeeze this in here. It's hard to do. 1269 and 1231, that is not true. So I'm comfortable with B, C, and D as my answers there. Number 8. What is the sum? So we just need to add this one up. Sum is a word for addition. So I'll carry 1. I'll carry 1. I'm thinking 99.13 or answer C. I like that one. Number 9. Hugh runs 5 65 miles on Saturday and 4 92 miles on Monday. How many miles does Hugh run in all? So I have 5.65 plus 4.92, and in all is the plus sign. So let's add. We do have to carry there. This is interesting. You get a 10, so you put your 0 and your 1. It rolls over into the next place. So 10.57 is the answer. Option A. Marcy spends $14.67 for dinner and $8.80 to see a movie. How much does she spend in all? So I'll take dinner, which was $14.67, and the movie was $8.80. I'll align those up and add. Put a 0 if you want to. Whoa, don't know what happened there, sorry. A 0 in there if you want to hold that place. So 7, 14, so carry 1. 12 plus 1 is 13, carry 1, and 2. I'm thinking $23.47, and that is option D. All right, number 11. Angelica has 2 3/35 yards of white fabric and 4 7/75 yards of blue fabric. How many yards of fabric does she have in all? So 2.35, 4.75, and we are adding these together to get 7 10/10 yards. Remember though, they're going to eliminate that extra 0. So I'm looking for 7.1. I like option B. Number 12. Use the hundredths model. Now we haven't talked about the hundredths model, but what they're talking about is this square that's divided into 100 equal parts. You see this a lot with percents because that's what percents mean, parts out of 100. So for example, this first one, which is 63 hundredths, that's 63%. It's 63 out of those 100 squares that are filled. So when they say the hundredths model, they're just talking about these big boxes with 100 little squares. The first one has 63 hundredths colored. The second one has 24 hundredths colored, and they want us to combine those. So first, I'm going to go ahead and let me look at this question completely before I start talking, because I'm not sure how many more squares need to be shaded to equal 1. I gotcha. Okay, so first thing, this is a two-step problem. The first thing I'm going to do is combine the ones that I already have. I'm going to say the first box has 63 hundredths. The second box has 24 hundredths. So we're going to put those together because we have that many gray ones. Okay, so 7 and then 6, 7, 8. We have a total of 87 hundredths that are gray or shaded. If we put all of those gray pieces in one box, in other words, if I took this first box and moved those 24 in there, let me try to do that and we'll see what we get. Okay, so here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We know this is 10, so there's 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So I've moved these over here into this box. The question is how many are needed to go ahead and fill one of these hundredths models up. So how many would be in this blue area that I would have to fill? So here are the two steps of this problem. If you focus right here, the first thing I did was add the 24 in here. I added the yellows. Then how many blue ones would I need? So I'm going to subtract 1 whole square minus the 87 hundredths. So let's do this mathematically and then we'll look at the picture. We have to add some zeros because I do need to borrow here. I'm going to take that 1 away and give it to its neighbor. Then take 1 away and give it to its neighbor. So I'm left with 3, a 1, and a 0. And that fits with what I have because there are 13 of those blue ones. So what I've done, I combined the two boxes that I had, and then I subtracted to figure out how many are left to fill in that first box. I like this problem, but I like pictures. Pictures help me to understand what I'm seeing. Number 13. The table shows the cost of different meal options at a cafeteria. So you can get option or combo number 1. You get a turkey sandwich basket. Combo number 2 is a soup and a salad. And combo number 3 is macaroni and cheese. And we want to know which 3 statements. So important, guys, that you notice that 3 statements are true. A 1 and a 2 added together is 1538. Well, let's see. We have 959 and 579. Add those and we'll know if it's true or not. Carry 1. Carry 1. 1538. That is a true statement there in A. 2 and 3. Let's see what that total is. So 579, 789. add them up. $13.68. B is not true. Meals 1 and 3. So $9.59 and $7.89. It's going to be $17.48. So C is not true. 1 and 2, and this time we need to subtract. We're looking for the difference in the prices. Gotta borrow. 15 minus 7 is 8, and 8 minus 5 is 3. $3.80. So D is a true statement. 3 and 2. So meal number 3 is $7.89. Sorry, I've got my shape tool on. $7.89 minus $5.79. $2.10. That is a true statement. So we have our answers. But let's go ahead and finish this just to be sure. To compare 1 and 3, we have $9.59 minus $7.89. And that is going to be, sorry, I have to borrow. 15 minus 8 is 7. 8 minus 7 is 1. It's not $1.07, it's $1.70. So the three that I want are A, D as in dog, and E as in elephant. Three correct choices on this one. Have to get them all to get that full credit. Number 14. At the start of the season, Nolan's time for the 400-meter race is 52.43 seconds. At the end of the season, his time for the same race is 50.97 seconds. How many seconds faster is Nolan's time at the end of the season? And that word tells me to subtract. So this was the beginning of the season. His time got shorter because he was improving. We want to know how much he improved. Have to borrow here. 13 minus 7. Have to borrow here. 13 minus 9. Here we have 1 and 0. So 1 and 46 hundredths seconds is the difference in his time. I'm going to go with C on this one. In 1 month during the rainy season, a rainforest receives 95 and 91 centimeters of rain. During a drier month, the same area receives 49.87 centimeters of rain. There's an word. What is the difference? That's a subtraction word. Between the rainfall amounts. So if I'm subtracting, I want that larger number on the top. And I want to line up my decimals. So here we go. I do have to borrow to get an 11. I don't need to borrow there. I do need to borrow here. So 4604, I like option D on this one. My pen's acting up, guys. I think maybe I need to change the nib on there. All right, number 16. Michael has $87.56. He spends $68.24 to buy groceries. How much money does Michael have left? So I have $87.56 minus $68.24. It's going to be 2 and 3. And then I do have to borrow on this one. So it looks like he has $19.32 left over. And that is option C. Number 17. Zakira works Zakira works 38.78 hours one week. She works 39.62 hours the next week. How much or how many hours does Zakira work in all? I just butchered that reading, didn't I? I'm sorry about that. 38.78 in all, 39.62. So we need to add on this one. Carry 1, carry 1, carry 1. And they will eliminate the extra zeros. So I am liking option B, as in boy. What is the difference? Difference is a subtraction word, but we have the subtraction sign. And you can add a 0 or just bring the 5 down. I would encourage you to add the 0. 14. Take away 9. 21.55. The answer is A. And number 19, what is the sum? Sum is an addition word when it's spelled this way. I would encourage you to fill in all spaces with zeros and then add. So carry 1, carry 1. 5656. The answer is B. And that brings us to the end of practice 22. In the next lesson, we will multiply and divide decimals, and then we will be finished with this chapter except for our review. So I will see you soon. Have a good day.